Would you like to hear some good tips on conducting surveillance in a mobile home park? If you said yes, then this video is for you. Welcome to the PI Guy, tips, tricks, and advice for professional private investigators just like you. My name is John Morris. I am a licensed professional private investigator in Colorado. How many times have you had to conduct surveillance in a trailer court or a mobile home park? I would love to know what obstacles you have run into doing this type of surveillance and what you did to overcome those obstacles. Go down in the comments below and let me know. I have had to conduct surveillance in mobile home parks hundreds of times over the years, and the challenges and obstacles to overcome are numerous, to be sure. In this week's case study and lessons learned video, we will go over several of these challenges. Now, one case I had a while back was a workers' comp case. The subject was not able, or allegedly able, to lift, pull, push, or drag anything more than a few pounds and not more than a few times a day. His back injuries had him nearly bedridden, and he couldn't even do part-time casual desk work. This case was in a typical mobile home park, nothing really special at all about it. There was limited open parking in the area due to narrow roadways and permitted parking areas. When I first received the case, I did my usual pre-surveillance work on it. I explored the neighborhood on the internet, then I went and I did a quick drive-through of the neighborhood one day after I finished up another case. Often I will conduct recon on upcoming cases when I am finishing up another case in the field if I am somewhat nearby. This saves a lot of time and gives me much needed intel prior to starting the case. My neighborhood drive-through revealed how limited the parking really was in the trailer park. There was almost no unassigned parking or guest parking anywhere. I knew this would present a problem, to be sure. I had also identified a potential parking spot outside of the neighborhood where I could sit and I could watch the primary exit. However, there was another exit on the opposite side. I got up bright and early my first day on the case, and I go there before the sun even gets up, and guess what? Yep, you guessed it. No parking anywhere close by where I could watch the residents. So after I confirmed that my subject's vehicle was present and there were interior lights on, I knew he was probably home, so I set up surveillance outside of the neighborhood. Now, this setup was far from perfect. It was in a little strip mall with several businesses and a convenience store. I could see the primary exit from the neighborhood, but I had limited time to react when my subject would exit due to several factors. First, if he went right out of the neighborhood, there was a traffic light that he might easily hit that light green, and I might get stuck trying to cross the road and then hit a red light. Second, he could go left out of the neighborhood, but once he got going, it was open country. The third issue was if he came straight across the street to the convenience store, he would have to drive right past me. Now, that first day, I had very bad luck. In fact, after the first couple of hours, I did a drive-by and his vehicle was gone. Yep, he left and I never saw him. That told me he must have left and went out the other exit on the opposite side of the mobile home park, or he was going out on a different route than the one that I took to get to his residence. After contacting my client, they said to hang out for a while and see if he came back. So I set up again at that little strip mall and I waited. But I didn't have to wait long until I saw him returning to his residence. I was able to follow him into the trailer court and right to his house. Once he got home, I just pulled over a little ways down the road and I was able to get my video. He had a ton of groceries that he and his wife carried into the house. After that, he came back out and he started doing some lawn work. He was bending over a lot, picking up kids' toys and other stuff everywhere. Then he started rolling up his sprinkler hoses and I knew I was going to be in for some really good video. Now I had an issue though. I was just sitting there parked in the middle of the street, right in front of another mobile home and right in front of a no street parking sign. I kind of stood out to be sure. I decided to stop getting my video and take a chance on trying to locate a good legal parking spot. I found a guest parking spot not too far from my subject's home, but I couldn't see anything there. So I grabbed my Covert Camera, I grabbed my regular camera, I put on a ball cap, and I head out on foot surveillance. I get close to his residence and I can see he's pulling the lawnmower out of the shed. Just in time, I tell myself, but now what do? I couldn't find any place to be able to just stand there for more than a few seconds without looking rather suspicious. There was a park for the court about a block away, and I could see some benches there, but I knew that I couldn't see his house from there, so I knew I had to get creative. As I was walking slowly past his house, suddenly I see the mailbox cluster sitting there on the opposite side of the street. Bingo, I scream in my head. I went over to the mailboxes. I grabbed my covert camera out of my pocket. I turned it on. I made sure that my Wi-Fi connection was working. And then, yep, I set that camera right up on top of that mailbox cluster. And then I walk over to that park and I sit down in the bench. I don't think I have ever been so nervous leaving a drop camera anywhere. I have used many types of drop cameras in my life, many types of scenarios, but leaving this expensive camera just sitting there in the sunlight and very exposed made me quite nervous, to say the least. Now, I was able to find a place to sit at that park with a direct line of sight to the camera, so I was able to keep a little connectivity to it so I could see the video that it was getting. After about 20 minutes, I saw that he went to the other side of the house, so I took that opportunity to walk back and grab my camera. I then drove around and I found another spot where I could park and I could sit for a few minutes and get some more video from the other side as he finished up mowing his lawn. When he got done, I went back to my original position at the strip mall, and boy, was I ever relieved. Day 2 rolled around and I was able to locate a spot where I could sort of watch both exits of the mobile home park from a distance. On this day, I observed my subject and his wife and his kids leaving out the back exit. I then followed them to a grocery store, a McDonald's, and then back home. Using the same technique I did the first day with my covert camera on top of the mailboxes, I was able to obtain more video of him as he played outside with his kids and his dog. This time, you won't believe what I caught him doing on video. He was outside playing with his kids, down on the ground, doing great daddy playtime stuff. Then the dog comes over. He starts playing with the dog. Then he starts rolling around on the ground, play wrestling with the dog. Then he suddenly stands up. He picks up that big old dog. No problem whatsoever. He then sets the dog down and they all start playing with the dog. Him, his kids, having the time of their life. Amazing, I thought to myself. That is one special dog. He must have super healing powers or something. Suddenly, my subject's back gave him no problems whatsoever. After I reached out to my client, they wanted another round of surveillance. Now, due to the nature of the trailer court setup and the fact that I had drawn a good deal of attention to myself from neighbors, they had authorized a second investigator for the case. The next few rounds were a lot easier. They went a lot smoother with 2 of us. We could set up where we did walk-bys about every 60 minutes, and each one of us covered an exit. We got tons more video on the subject to include, more with the covert camera just sitting there on the mailbox cluster. The biggest lessons in this case, folks, sometimes you have to improvise. You have to think outside of the box to get the job done. I had even considered placing my covert camera on the ground underneath a vehicle, but then I decided the mailbox cluster would work a lot better. Now, I wouldn't have left the camera there for an extended period of time, but for 15 to 20 minutes it was fine, especially since I was in eye shot of it. I planned on walking toward the mailbox if I saw anybody pulling up to the mailboxes, but that never happened. Having a second investigator helped immensely too in this case. I ended up working that case 5 or 6 more times, and I doubt that I would have been very successful doing it alone. Eventually, someone was going to say something to me, and if it was management for the court and they asked me to leave, well, I would have to leave. You see, mobile home park streets are generally not public roadways like a city street. Usually the mobile home park owns the streets and the parking spaces. So if they ask you to leave, you are technically trespassing if you don't or if you come back. Had I not gone the extra mile on this one, I would have ended up with just a little bit of video of my subject carrying groceries into his house, and that is probably it. Hey, here are 2 more videos that I made just for you. Thank you so much for supporting the PI Guy channel, and remember folks, stay safe out there.